to send an input here again? What do I need to send the input to the? Now if you look at here, we don't have lookup C because this mapping doesn't have a lookup. I have only stored procedure. Did you notice that? Earlier we had a lookup when we were creating mapping using unconnected lookup transformation. So this ETL doesn't have an unconnected lookup. This has an unconnected stored procedure. Now you see unconnected stored procedure here. Double click on it, you'll get a syntax again, colon sp dot your stored procedure transformation name and whatever is the input that you want to send. I want to send salary as an input. Validate. Why it is not valid? Is it because the data type is different? Here I have specified as do you have any clues why it is invalid?
Mahesh, is the table name correct?
What table name? Transformation name, do you mean to say?
Yeah, EMP underscore TAX.
Yeah, it is correct because I have not written it manually, right? Whatever I have here, because this is what is the, this is what you have in your mapping. This is what you have created. It is not like unconnected lookup where it returns the value to the calling. What is happening here is I have to define a variable here, something called proc result. So salary would be sent as an input and this will capture the result of that, whatever is the stored procedure is returning basically. Salary won't capture it. It is sending and this is the receiving. Whereas unconnected lookup, we did not write anything like this. But for unconnected stored procedure, you have to write. This is proc result is a variable which captures it. Now it got valid C. Let me see whether it works or not. From expression, I am sending everything to target. Along with the tax. Along with the tax. Now I am creating a workflow for it. This is what is my workflow, and session is this. Clear. Edit. This is a stored procedure transformation. For this, connection says $target, which is nothing but, I said right, by default it gives $target. For this $target, where do you need to provide the actual connection? It's a question. Where do I need to provide the actual connection? What do I mean by $target?
Is it the source?
It's saying $target. So $target means this is a connection information for the stored procedure, right?
Yeah, the connection should be connected to the source.
Okay, where do I need to specify that? I have told you this yesterday also, when I was talking about the stored procedure transformation. When I say yesterday, yeah, on Saturday. Did I not show you this? $source connection value, $target connection value. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Did we provide the connection here? I'm opening that workflow. Do you see this? I've told you this on Saturday. We have provided the connection because we have created a stored procedure transformation. For this it says $target. I said by default it gives you $target. And for this you need to specify the connection under the properties tab. What is the value of a $target? That you need to specify here. This is the relational connection. And I told the same thing when I was talking about the lookup transformation example also. Either you need to provide a connection to the dollar source or $target if your lookup is on either at source table or your target table. We have done this when we have developed SID type 2 also. Yes or no? Then why did you forget? I'm modifying the instance of it, so that's the reason why it said revert. Now I am modifying the actual. For this $target, I need to specify a value somewhere. That is here under the properties tab. You have two properties. One is what is the $source connection value, what is the $target connection value. Since my stored procedure exists in my source schema, I am specifying my source schema relational connection. I am specifying my source schema relational connection. I have used the same target table, so I want to truncate the data. Connect INFTGT. INFTGT. Select share from T underscore EMP underscore STP. So I am truncating this. So I'm not truncating from here. I'll use the truncate target table option here. Edit. Mapping. This is my target table. And I'm enabling truncate here. Alright, so I'm starting this. This is unconnected lookup, sorry, unconnected stored procedure. By calculating the tax, it has populated all the employees' data to the target. Do you have any questions about this? Are you able to follow? I mean, I doubt because you are not responding at all. Our second thing is you have not practiced at all. Should we continue or stop it here?
I'm okay to continue.
What about you, Sri? Are you not well?
No, it's not like that, Mahesh. You can continue.
I mean, you're not responding at all. That's the reason why I'm saying. Do you have interest today or not?
Yeah, I have interest, Mahesh. I don't have any problem, but I just didn't practice it. That's why I'm unable to respond. That's it.
We have finished all the transformations. Whatever we need to discuss. 16 transformations plus 2 unconnected. So 18 examples. Along with that, we have seen SCD type to 19 examples, 19 mappings and 19 sessions. Apart from the advanced topics, what is incremental aggregation, target load plan, constraint based loading. So the next one is, I'm not sure whether you remember, we have done an example to read the data from a file. To read the data from a file. Do you remember any such example we have done? Reading a data from a file. And writing the data into a file.
Yeah, using flat files as source.
Yeah. Using flat files as source, correct. This is the mapping we have done. We have read the data from a file, which is a flat file, and loaded the data into a table. And it show you quite opposite example also, reading the data from a table and creating a file. Now for this mapping, what was the session that we have created, session and workflow? Workflow is, okay, let me open the session first. DEPTD file. This is what is the session we have created. Okay, what are the two attributes that you need to specify when you are reading the data from a file at session level? What are the two attributes that you need to specify when you are reading, two properties that you need to specify when you are reading the data from a file?
Path, directory,
Path and file name.
and
Path and file name. And I'm not sure whether you remember or not, there is something called other property, which is source file type. I did not stress on that when I have discussed this example. I said that's all. I did not stress on it. Source file type. You know only these two things, but there is something called source file type, which is there are two types. One is direct and another one is indirect. So the example what we have seen is a direct. When you are reading the data from a file, when you are reading the data from a single file, you can use the direct method. Now I have a question. I have two files of similar type. The file structure is same, but I have two files. So what do I need to do in that case? I have to either, first option is change the file name. Two files in the sense file name would be different. So first read the data from one file using the specifying the file name here and load it into the table. That is first run. For the second run, change the file name here and run it. Change the file name and then run the ETL. So it reads the data from the second file and loads into the target table. It is okay since I have two files now. I am running the ETL twice. But what if I have 10 files with the same structure? The file structure is same, only the data is different. Nothing but metadata is same, data is different. Metadata is same, data is different. If you have 10 files and that needs to be loaded into a single table in the target, so for first run, you'll take first file and load it into the table. Second run, second file and load it into the table. So every time you need to modify the ETL or session or whatever it is, you need to change it and run the execute it. So similarly, you have to run for 10 times to load the data from those 10 files. Do you agree with me or not? Are you able to follow or not?
You're saying we have 10 sources?
Yeah, 10 sources with a similar structure. 10 sources with a similar structure. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Did you got it? Did you get it basically what I wanted to say here? I have 10 files with the same structure. So in that case, if I want to load those 10 files into the target table, I have to run my ETL 10 times. Because I can specify only one file name here, right? I can't specify multiple file names and ask Informatica read one after the other. So when you have one file, that is direct method. When you have multiple files with the same structure, Informatica provides an option called indirect method. Reading the data, this is indirectly. When I say indirectly, when you have 10 files with the same structure, but the file names are different. Multiple files cannot have the same name, right? File names obviously would be different. File names obviously would be different. Informatica provides this indirect method, and what it says is, you have 10 files, right? Take the names of those 10 files, put it into another file called filelist.txt, and provide the input here in the place of source file name, that file list. So for example, you have 3 files, file 1, file 2 and file 3. If you have to load those 3 files, you have to run your ETL 3 times in case of a direct method. I want to avoid that. So to avoid that, what you need to do is you need to select indirect. That's the first thing you need to do. And second thing you need to do is you need to place the all file names, not the files, not the file with the data. you need to place the file names in a separate file and put that file here. Now see, what I am showing, what I am saying, you will understand if I show it to you.
Mahesh, don't scold me.
I am scolding both of you. I am angry already. You
No,
might
the
have got
same
it.
one we are doing in union transformation, right?
The same one?
I mean, we have 10 sources and we are putting it in one target. The same thing we are doing it in union transformation.
Correct. We can do that way as well. But you need to 10 files, right?
Yeah.
So you need to create 10 sources, 10 source qualifiers.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
So 10 source qualifier, it becomes a huge mapping.
Yeah.
Reading the data from 10 sources. Clear?
Clear, Mahesh. Thank you.
So now here, see, look at here. I have two files. One is emp underscore sp underscore file underscore id1. And the second file emp underscore sp underscore file underscore id2. This is the first file which has a data. See, structure is same. emp number, ename, job, manager, hire date, salary, commission and department number. And this is the second file I have the data. Structure is same. So what Informatica says is, in this kind of cases, when you have multiple files with the same structure, and you need to, when you want to load them into a single table with the same logic, put these file names in a separate file. This is emp underscore sp underscore id underscore file list. So I just put these two file names, not the files, file names here in this file. So I am going to use this as my source. I'm going to use this as my source. You know what? There is something wrong here. What is wrong is, my ETL is different and the source file structure is different. So I think I should not use these files. I need to create. Do you understand what I said? My source is a DEPT here in my mapping, but the multiple files I have here is for EMP. So I cannot use them. See, I am creating this single file as two files. That is a valid question, Vidya. We are doing the same thing in Union, but we need to pick up 10 source qualifiers there. See, what I am doing here is, DEPT1, DEPT2. So I'm copying this data into two files. In this file list, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give file names dept1.txt and dept2.txt. I'm just giving the file names, and this file I would provide as an input to my session. This is indirect method, not a direct method. When you have multiple files with the same structure and when you want to load them into a single target, when you have to load them, you can use an indirect method and put the whatever is the file names, the files you have in another file called filelist.txt and use that as an input. When you do that, what Informatica does is it goes to this file when you start a session and it takes the file name from this file and checks for the file in the same directory. If file finds, reads the data and loads into the target. Next, it goes to this file, it reads the second file name and checks for the second file in that directory and reads the data from this file and loads into the target. It does the same thing for the total number of files you have in this file list.txt. So my here has two files. So first it reads the data from this file, loads into the target, then it reads the data from this file and loads into the target. This is the indirect method, and there is a definite question on this in an interview. They'll ask you what, they'll not ask you directly what is an indirect method. They'll test your logical skills. See, I have two files or 10 files with the same structure. I want to load them into a table, into the target. How will you do that? They'll ask you, this is the question. You have to tell them, yeah, I'm going to use, since you'll post a question to him, do they have the same structure? They'll say yes, they have the same structure. Then you will say, I'm going to use an indirect method, which is file type as indirect, source file type as indirect, and I'll list out all the names of those files and put it in another file, and I'll use that file as an input file in Informatica. So Informatica takes the file name from that file list.txt and read one by one and put it into the target. So once all the files are completed that are there in your file list.txt, it ends the session. You don't have to, so using what is the advantages, you don't have to run the ETL 10 times to load 10 files by changing the file name every time here. That is what is the advantage of it. See, what is my target table? Sorry, not this. This is my, what is my workflow? Type 1, type 2. Yeah, files. This is what is my workflow. So in this workflow, I'm not going to run the entire workflow. I'm going to run only this. What is the target for this? T_dept_d file. I am going to the target. Select star from T underscore DEPT underscore D file. So it has 8 rows. So what I am doing is I am enabling a truncate target table option here. So it truncates the data and then loads it. Now remember, this is using an indirect method. I am showing you again. This is indirect. Did I parameterize this? Apply. Okay. See, 4 rows from the source, 4 rows are loaded into the target. So but actually my each file has only 2 rows. So total comes to the 4 rows. This file has 2 files, right? So this one has 2 rows and this one has 2 rows. Both of them have the same structure. Both of them have the same structure. So this is, see, it reads the reading input file names from the indirect file. Do you see a message here? Reading input file names from the indirect file. Then it reads the data from one after the other. First DEPT file 1 and then DEPT file 2. Do you see them here? Reading the data from input file DEPT1.txt, reading data from source file, input source file DEPT2.txt. So from the 2 files it is reading the data one after the other. If you don't use indirect method, you have to run the ETL twice for this. Clear? Do you have any questions on this?
It's clear, Mahesh.
Yeah, it's clear, Mahesh.
Okay. Next is normal and bulk loading. Normal and bulk loading. Do you remember seeing these properties anywhere? Normal and bulk options are?
Yeah, in the mapping properties.
Okay, mapping properties. Where here?
Sorry, I think it's in workflow properties, not mapping.
So workflow properties in the sense workflow, edit, properties.
No, session properties. Session properties where we mention source and
Where here?
so if we click on the source or target, can you just click on target? Target load type.
Interviewer will give you these many options to you. I mean, if you think you would be able to give an answer. I said normal bulk loading. Do you load the data into source?
No, Mahesh,
No, right?
what I said is like here you see edit tasks and we are coming to mapping properties, right?
Correct.
That's what I remember. So
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, that's fine. So I'm not asking about that. Okay, you have given explanation for it. You said either are sources targets, right? As a second option. You asked me to first click on sources and then, okay, you confirmed it, okay, click on targets, right? So I'm giving, I mean, normal or bulk loading. Loading is something we do it onto the target. We read the data from source, right? So you definitely keep, remember that, okay, loading, yes, target. We load the data into the target. It is somewhere in the target properties. So at session level, it is available under target properties, normal and bulk. What is normal? What is bulk? What is normal and what is bulk? Nothing here. Bulk means you can use it only when there are no constraints specified on your target table, basically which improves the performance. If there are no constraints, nothing but primary keys on your target table. If there is no primary key, that means there are no indexes on that table. Indexes always degrade the performance while you are loading the data. Indexes improve the performance while you are reading the data. So when you do not have any, when you don't have keys specified on your target table, then you can use the bulk mode. This is generally used when you are doing high volumes of data at once, bulk loading, because which improves the performance. There is no DB log. What happens is in Oracle, for every insert you do, either it is from Informatica or it is directly you're writing an insert statement. First, it stores the data in the log, that is called DB log. Then it commits the data to the target. That is the reason why you are able to do a rollback. You can do a rollback. How any relational database, how it works is when you are loading the data into that, first it creates a DB log of the data and then inserts the data into the target and commit. You can retrieve the data using a DB log. When you use a bulk option when you write a stored procedure also, you'll use bulk option. When you use a bulk option, what happens is database will not create a DB log. Directly it commits the data to the target. DB log is not created, so you can't roll back it. But at the same time, this is a disadvantage of it, but advantage is it improves the performance because you are reducing the burden to the database. So bulk loading is done only when there are high volumes of data. First example is when you build your warehouse. When you build your warehouse, you have lots of data because either from the past 5 years or 10 years. You need to load that entire data into your warehouse, right? And if you are sure your data is proper and accurate, you can disable the primary key foreign key relationships on your target tables, warehouse tables, and then load the data using bulk load. Bulk loading happens very fast. Once you load the whole amount of data, from the next day onwards, you are going to do incremental loads. You will read the incremental data and load it incrementally into the target. Then before you start the incremental loads, enable the keys. That's the advantage and disadvantage of the bulk load. And for a daily runs, you will not use a bulk option. You always use a normal option. When you have keys specified on your target table, bulk option won't work. Informatica fails this session. What is the error it gives is, it says there is an index defined on your target table. That is what is the error it gives. There is an index defined on your target table. It will not say you have enabled a bulk option. change it to normal. It will say there is an index defined on your target table. It's a weird message. People won't understand it. What is this? What if index is there? My table need an index, I have created it. By that message, what you need to understand is you have used a bulk option and you are not supposed to use a bulk option. And you should change it to normal. It fails the session only when there is an primary keys specified on your target table. That is what is about normal and bulk. There would be a question on this also. What is the difference between normal loading? I mean, how many load types we have, target load types? They'll ask you, bulk and normal. You have to say this is what is. When you do a bulk loading, DB log would not be created, performance would be, performances, you get a good performance. But if you have a key specified on your target table, it doesn't work. Clear what is normal and bulk? All these days, whatever the practicals we have done, we don't have any key specified except for SCD type 2. There is a key specified. Even for that, we have used a bulk, because in case of SCD type 2, what happens is Informatica would not consider bulk at all. Informatica will not consider the bulk at all. It changes it to normal by default. I mean, you have selected bulk, internally it changes it to normal. It is finished. If you look at this session, I have the bulk option. All these tables have a primary keys. This is a single table. It's not all these tables. Single table and multiple instances. Primary keys are there. Bulk is there, but it did not fail the session. The reason is, if you look at somewhere, let me search for it, find. See, bulk mode is not applicable to delete, update or data driven sessions. Default is default to normal mode. Informatica changes it by default. But because your ETL has insert and updates, you have an update strategy transformation in your mapping. That is the reason Informatica doesn't treat bulk at all. But if you use the same bulk for other ETLs and where there is a key specified, Informatica fails the session. To give you an example, let me create the primary key on any one of the table. Is it okay? I'm going to take another 5 minutes.
It's okay with me.
I have changed it to normal. Do you see here? Because constraint based loading, when we are doing an ETL for constraint based loading, I change it to normal. Because bulk fails the session. See, I am changing it to bulk now. Let's see what happens. This is a constraint based loading ETL we have developed. Shit, I have closed the monitor itself. See, the session has failed. Do you see the error message here? Target table has index defined upon it. Are you able to notice? Here we have, I changed it from normal to bulk. There are keys on these tables. If you look at the target definitions of CBL, DEPT. Do you see here? There is a key specified, primary key. There is a primary key specified and I have selected bulk here. So it failed the session stating that there is your target table has an index defined upon it. Now I am changing this to normal. Normal. Apply. OK. I'll rerun it. See, it is successful. Are you clear?
It's clear, Mahesh.
All right. That's all for the day. Carry on. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.